Good morning, everyone. This is Monday, October 10th. This is another weekly video from Otsu, and I'm going to start probably renaming this to Observations with Otsu. A little catchy, a little or whatever. Doesn't really matter, but um, anyway, the point being is I'm going to start adding a little more structure to this, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. Please let me know. Like literally, let me know anything. If you think this sucks, let me know so I don't waste my time doing something that's not productive for you. I'm wanting to do this for you guys. Um, Let me know of any things I'm doing good so that I can keep doing those. I want to fine tune this over time to where you guys are getting good content delivered to you. I've been doing crypto trading for almost 6 years now. It'll be 6 years going this December that I've been doing this for crypto, and I've been doing it for stocks about 2 to 3 years before then. So I realize maybe I should start sharing some of my overall thoughts and everything and what has worked for me. I'm a completely homegrown uh, person with the markets. I've got no formal experience or education with this, so I've been doing this on the fly literally for 8 years now. It has worked for me. I'm not saying it works for everyone. I'm not even still after all this time not familiar with some of the fancy jargon as maybe some other people are. And yes, that is embarrassing at times, but that is just my MO. It has worked for me, and the way I see it, if you're viewing this too, you're probably just an average person like me. So I would like to teach other average people because the people that are getting the fancy education, the experience, they're probably doing their own thing anyway, right? So I from one, let's assuming you're just the average Joe, from one average person to another, I just want to share overall with that. So that being said, um, this is another weekly video. I tend to do this on Monday mornings after the stocks have opened to kind of get not just a good idea of what's happened on the weekly from last week and to get kind of a closing analysis from last weekend, but to get a live reaction to the Monday markets and how this has affected the crypto markets. So, kind of getting that all up to speed. It's one thing to view the markets after they have closed. I know a lot of people view it with the futures opening on Sunday, at least in my time zone. But I wanted to wait till the markets on Mondays that have opened. Kind of, most of the world has already waken up and taken lunch. So that's kind of when I want kind of the frame of what I'm doing, if that makes sense. So with that being said, I'm glad you're here. This is Observations with Otsu. If you, I know most everybody's probably new since I don't even have 100 subscribers yet. Um, just feel free to please like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. Like I said, give me a comment. Um, Anything that could help me help you. That being said, I also have a newsletter coming up. I'll link that below on the YouTube video. That way you can look at more of my written analysis. That's usually where I also share more altcoins and maybe some blogs or other information like extra information or news based information as well. I'm also going to launch some education series on YouTube. One's going to be just a beginner series that focuses on, hey, if you're brand new or if you're just looking to improve while this market is just absolutely crap, then you can learn how to improve. I'm also going to do a strict education series where it kind of goes an overview of what is price action, what is support and resistance, things like that. I'm going to start off fairly small and easy for now, kind of build that up over time. And then I'm also going to have another series, probably focused on either practical application to trading or something more risk management. I'll probably get a little more nerdy with that if that's your flow. And then I'll probably also do maybe like a casual live stream of sorts. Maybe not live stream necessarily, but some kind of more casual look at the charts and trading and how I might do that practically, or more of like a whiteboard session, so to speak. So with those all being said, I got a lot of content coming out. So please, follow, subscribe, whatever, if that's your jam. If you like what I'm doing here. So as with the weekly videos, I changed the name, but nothing's really changing as far as content. I'm gonna look at what's happened last week. I'm gonna and what I might think might happen this week. So first, I'm gonna look at the total crypto market cap, which is the total chart here on TradingView, and then on my sidebar here, I'm gonna look at Bitcoin, look at Ethereum, look at the ETH Bitcoin pair, look at Solana. Probably going to skip the rest, as those will probably be in another video. So with the total market cap here. All right, so let's go to the 1 week chart, and we can see here. I really never do like looking at weekly charts, to be honest, but you got to. That's part of the thing. We did close above. We got the bullish breaker, and this is, if you've looked at some of my videos, my little 2-minute videos on Telegram, I've already discussed this. But we closed bullish above these two candles, so this is a bullish breaker, which means we should retest lower, which is usually the opening of that candle. So right about 878, and this is a market cap chart, so I don't really put a lot of conviction into this as much as I do like actual Bitcoin or other price charts. But we closed below it, so we're kind of just stuck in this range for now. Long story short, I think the break of either side of this range will determine kind of a mid-time frame setup. Obviously, if you're a bull, you want to go above 920 and break down below if you think we're going to go lower. And I mean, as far as this setup goes, it still looks fairly weak, especially in comparison to this, wannabe order block, as I would say. This is pretty weak, so to speak, and we had that breaker above, and that's one reason why we're here. If we go to the daily, just a lot of indecision really since June, honestly. And we had this move up, but then we broke below, and this is not what we want to see here. Let's remove all this. So we had kind of a clear structure right here, broke above, and then we broke below again, but we're kind of going in and out of that structure. We went back above finally, and most people thought that we were kind of done with that range. Now we're back below. We retested bearish. So overall, that's not the best sign, and that's why a lot of people are expecting lower. I think that's a good expectation to have. I disagree on some assets for now, because although they do look like they may go bearish, they have not given any follow through. So I'm currently not invested in any short scenarios, simply because they're not fully set up yet. When big structures happen like this, I look at what's called a Darvas formation or a Darvas structure. So let's just take this example right here, all of this. So we broke up to the top here in May, we retested this, right? And let's just assume this is Bitcoin too. You may have been tempted to long here, and that would have been the worst play that you could have did at the time, right? So the better option would have been to wait for a break above and then long, which would have been the best case scenario, right? So let's say you would have longed something like this, and you would have played something like that, right? Keep in mind, this is just an example, so you may have been stopped depending on your risk or what have you. But this is what's known as like a Darvas structure, formation, play. There's different words for that. But I wait until there's a full close above, and I probably would have waited above the wick as well. I think the rules dictate you got to be above the wick. Sometimes you don't have to do that depending on what you do. As I said, this is the crypto market cap chart, so you wouldn't be playing this, and that's evident by how many wicks there are, for example. So that's what I do, and I wait for that. And so let's go to the Bitcoin chart, right? So um, let's say up here you had that bearish bearish divergence. You waited to short. You maybe let's say so. Here's what I did, and I've mentioned this several times. I closed all of my positions, in the low 60s, so somewhere around here. I think after this candle maybe, and it wouldn't have been wise to short until you broke down here. So once you get this structure here, this kind of sets up kind of a mini, resistance going downward. Excuse me. You wanted to kind of break down. So you kind of wanted to follow through on your shorts here. Same with that. It's basic break support retest, right? So break down here, another structure here. This was all fine and dandy. Let's say you wanted to long this, but this deviated above. This was a clear short opportunity. Very crystal clear short opportunity, exit opportunity, whatever you want to do. And so those are kind of, Darvis is the same as that. It's a very easy structure. It's got a high probability of success as well, and that's just something that you kind of got to go with. And so I don't see why a lot of people don't do that as much, because that's been successful for me, and it's been successful overall. It's just an easy way to kind of navigate price action. And a lot of times I think it gets made more complicated than it should be. But anyway, mentioned this on the weekly time frame on my short video. We had a bullish close. It technically closed above this, so I expected a bullish breaker to retest, which we already kind of have. Depending on how you view this will be something I consider close enough. But we did okay here. So for Monday, though, we went down, and this is still currently forming, as you say. So with that all being said, we're looking at something a little more bullish than we were expecting. Like, this is not. I think there's a better chart for this. I think it's KuCoin. No, it's not. It's I think it's Coinbase. No, it's not. I don't know. Anyway, that being said, this is not as bearish as we might perceive. We still have, I'll just draw it. There should be what I call swing low order block, which is something like this. We're currently being protected here, and that's just something that we got to watch out for. So, this isn't exactly bullish overall, but I don't exactly think this is bearish either, necessarily. As long as we maintain the 1700s, I don't see why we should cater to shorts, at least with size or on a higher time frame. But going to the daily, I think this structure here is from a line chart. Yes. So, like, we have a triple touch here on the trend line. Go back to the candles here. So far, so far we're still holding up. This isn't exactly something I'm hopeful about. I'm not playing this right now. But as you can see, we're still holding up, and this is. But holding up is pretty relative. Like I understand this is a very terrible part of the market. In all my 6 years of trading crypto, this is probably one of the more frustrating price action that I've personally experienced. It's right on par with the drop before, the drop from 6,000 to 3,000, and I think that's one reason why a lot of people are expecting a drop. They're expecting the deja vu all over again kind of thing. And, I don't know just yet. I think we still have reason to believe that this should hold. And do I think there's a high chance that it will go lower? Yes, absolutely. I 100% believe that, and it is contrary to my personal analysis as well. But this still is holding up, and until it does, I don't see um, any reason that we should panic just yet. And these are my Aaron bands that I just turned on. Aaron bands on the 1 day are bullish right now. Let's go ahead. I tend to navigate to the 4 day, and we're still bearish on here. If this flips blue, I'm much more likely to get in. And one reason it hasn't is because this is still classic bearish retest. So I get and I understand why people think this might go lower. On paper, on my portfolio, I am expecting it to go lower. I would prefer that we reclaim this area between these two green boxes before I add on with size. And that's where I come up with that. Um, but even though, go back to the 4 day, like even though this has a good chance to be bearish, we have not made any new low yet. So I've got no reason to add on my shorts. Um, on the daily, as I mentioned, this is just really like whipsaw indecision, and this is something that you really shouldn't be trading unless you just know what you're doing. All right, so on the 4 hour, again, we just got this really crappy price action, and this is especially true with the wicks. Like once you have so many wicks like this is just not good. But we've tested on this higher time frame range marker here. Nothing really. I mean, this is nothing really hopeful to talk about as far as like day trading this. Like I can tell you that I haven't made very many trades in the past month, maybe like 2 or 3. And because I've been mainly focusing on adding positions, and I think Trader Main talked about this in a recent video. My biggest focus is, and I've got it marked here at 12. This is something that I'm not hiding to anybody. If this goes down here, buy. Down here, buy. Down here, buy. Down here, buy. I buy more. I might buy like, 5 or 10% of my portfolio here, 15% here, 20% here, 20% here. So then by the time I get here, I'm fully invested, and at that point, I get, if the more that we go down past this, so to speak, and I'm not saying that those numbers are true. I'm just saying, like, if you DCA down, the more on risk you're going to get. So the more this could hurt if we go down way down here, but also the higher reward that you could have if you go up here. And so the higher that you get, let's say my average buy-in, let's say we do go down, my average buy-in is like, 15 grand, and then we get to like 100 grand. Well, you're going to, probably 6x or something. I'm just kind of doing math out of the air, but that's kind of my strategy. And if that doesn't happen, then I'm going to add on with size as I go up, as these ARU bands flip bullish. And it's as easy as that. I know that's not the most sophisticated strategy, but that's what I am working with. Ethereum. Let's go ahead and let's keep the bands on, actually. Going to the weekly. I mentioned this before. But still on that retest, had a bullish week, and this is nothing to really gripe about right now. We've got the lower high, we've got all the beginnings of a possible setup going into later this year. We don't have it yet. Aaron is kind of indicating there's a smaller range bound trend, so I know it's kind of an oxymoron, but the trend is getting smaller here. So that means a big decision is going to be coming. It's at 35.7, as you can see over here when I put this marker here. 35.7. So this is a bearish wedge going into a bearish cross. If the bearish line, the black line, crosses above, and we have no lower low, that means we have a chance for this to turn bullish instead. So if the trend moves up and there's no if the trend moves bearish or bullish, and that reaction doesn't do anything, then the opposite trend has an opportunity to move. In that case, bulls would have the opportunity. And right now, this looks. I don't understand why. I am expecting 500 Ethereum. I am. I'm prepared for it. I would buy a lot of it. But right now, we've got a higher low. I think I may have said lower low earlier, or lower high, but we have a higher low in here, and this is clean so far. I mean, yeah, we had a bad breaker right here, and so I'm expecting to retest here. But if we can break 1750, I think this is okay. This is much cleaner than people are expecting, and I don't really understand the reasoning for why a lot of people are doom and gloom. I know the market and the whole world is going up in flames, so to speak, but this doesn't look that bad on paper, and until it starts to look bad, I don't think that we should react as if it will, because that's the one thing that leads you to fear and emotions, and a lot of people are very emotion driven right now. But there's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people out there that are bullish on this, and a lot of good people that are bearish. So I'm leaning slightly bullish right now, just because we're still in 4 digits, and until then, I've got no reason to think otherwise. Going to the daily here, still kind of hovering above up here. Had kind of a pump up, but then we had a fade, which is obviously not a good bullish sign. But still holding this green marker here. If you wanted to play this, I would probably wait until you got below, 1238 here, and you could probably extend this out. So if we drop below there, that's a good opportunity for a short potentially. And again, Abraham trend getting very consolidated here. Bulls have a chance to react. If not, bears are in control, and that could happen by the middle of the week, especially with all the action that we could have going on this week, with all the meetings and stuff. But again, I go back to the reservation that I'm buying big at certain points. Until then, I'm not doing any short-term longs, no short-term shorts, none of that nature. So just kind of keeping it dialed into that, keeping it focused. And the hardest thing about this is the fact that there's so much inactivity going on that you want something to happen, and that's exactly where you get in trouble. I could tell you how much money I've made in the past 2 months, and that as far as my portfolio goes, and it's very, very little. It might be maybe 3%. And the reason being is because I'm just not playing this. I'm adding into positions. And that also includes my major buy-in at Bitcoin at 19,300. And I mentioned that way over here because I got in right here when we pumped. And I think I got right here or right here, one of the two. I think when we closed above here, I got in. So, yeah, I got in on that wick, but then we closed below it. I was really happy when we got here. But look, that was early September. So I've been holding that 19.3 spot for almost a month now. And yeah, I'm underwater by what, like $90, $100? That's insignificant. So I haven't made money, but I haven't lost money either, really. And that's the point I'm trying to deliver. If you are not losing money in this market, you are doing good. Okay, that's really what I want to emphasize. This is about survival, not about success. Okay, and if you are in tune with being in survival mode, you will be in tune with success mode in the future. So, spent a little more time on Bitcoin than Ethereum, but that's pretty much the same thing here. So, 4 hour. I'm not sure if I just mentioned this, but not really saying much here. Again, a lot of indecision. I would do just a quick thing, retest of here. I would play either side of this range, long above here, maybe short down here if you're wanting a short, or DCA like I'm doing. And that's basically it for that. It's the good thing about the one good thing about these boring markets is that they are easy to play if you have the patience to play them. Just focus on the macro moves, and see. Here's the thing: like, let's say you long short, long short. Let's say you made like 20 trades in this time frame, or let's just say 10, and you know what, you played 21 days with a 8% range. And so if you have made a ton of money in this, like, you should like just continue to do that, or sign up for some hedge fund or whatever, because that's pro level. Okay, like, I could have done this maybe. Let's see what, my Aaron told me to sell here and buy here. That's it. And I didn't even do that, I don't think. So I could not have done this. I'm not a scalper, so to speak. I'm not that low time frame, low range kind of person. But it would be spectacular if you did make money. And if you didn't, then why are you trading this? Why? Like, let's say you made 10 trades here, and let's say you broke even. Well, okay, you broke even, but now you just wasted a whole month. When I made one trade, and that was on Bitcoin, roughly around middle of September. So I think that was like way back over here on the Bitcoin chart. And I've done nothing, and I think that's okay. I think sometimes the best thing is to do nothing, and that's why I say, like, don't waste your money on something like this. There's way much more opportunities to be made. What you would rather do. So let's say again. So let's go back to that example again. Let's say you made 10 trades, 1% risk. You risk a total of 10% of your portfolio. What you could have done instead was mark this out. So let's mark here at the top, but I'm going to put it down here, and then the low is the bottom. You play, let's say, you would have longed a break above it. So let's say you would have longed something like right here. Yeah, you would have got in at 14 instead of 13, but who cares? You put your stop loss below the mid. Let's say, let's change this up here. Go to a fib. So I use a fib with only 0.5, so it's kind of like an order block kind of thing. Pretty easy to do. So let's say you longed a break above it, and then you put your stop below it. So let's say, let's say 8.5%. And instead of doing 1% risk here, let's say you put 5. So that is the equivalent of 5 regular trades in this mark. And then if you, let's say you got a 3% reward targeting the top of this, you would have made 15% of your portfolio in one trade if that would have happened. If you would have broke below this, then you would just close, right? Because that would be a deviation. So then you're not even risking 5%. If you want to risk all the way down, you can, but you still would have risked half as much as what you would here. So this is a better play. This is a better play as far as risk, better play as far as reward, and as far as stop loss, setup, everything. This is a win scenario, or however many wins I need to say. It's a win-win scenario. At worst case, you lose less than what you would have lost anyway if you did something. And that's kind of my MO as far as what should be done. Like, don't focus on crappy plays that are going to give you low reward or hoping for a breakout. Wait for the breakout, wait for the follow-through, cash in. And that's about as simple as that. So let's go back to the daily I think I mentioned the Aaron kind of indecision here. I would expect a decent decision on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Probably more Ethereum by the middle of this week or even the end of this week. I would expect this to make. Let's go back to that 4 hour. I would like to see this break 400 or 1400s with the 1400 by the end of the week. If not, this has a higher chance of going down. Bitcoin on the A-Rune is in a bullish consolidation. It's going down. The trend is still bullish, but the bearish consolidation is stronger. So right now doesn't look good. Still got that trend line support. That's what I would like to keep it to stay for now. And if that breaks, I think lows are coming. At least the minor lows here, which still would be higher than this, but not by much, not anything significant. So that's it with those analysis of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like I said, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment about what you might think. Stay tuned for more videos. Check out my newsletter. I think I got a new issue coming here on Wednesday, and just let me know how this is, and catch you next week.